Welcome to Scholar Secure, a managed cybersecurity lab platform designed specifically for university engineering departments. Let me show you the professor experience. After logging in as a faculty member, we land on the main dashboard. At a glance, I can see my total students, how many are assigned to lab machines who still needs assignment, and the overall lab machine status. But the real power is in course management. Let me show you. These icons give me quick access to different management functions. Here in my courses, I can see all my course sections. Course sections let me organize students by semester and class period. For example, I might have CSC 300 Section A in fall and Section B in spring, each with their own student groups and permissions. Creating a new section is straightforward, just a few fields. But let's look at an existing course. First, let's get our students into the system. Scholar Secure can automatically pull your class roster from Canvas. That's the learning management system many universities use. But if you're not using Canvas, no problem. You can import students via CSV file or several other methods. Students will be automatically notified when the import completes via email. Once imported, students are automatically notified and ready to go. Now we can assign these students to specific groups. Think of groups as different lab environments, maybe one for beginners, another for advanced projects, whatever you need. Once assigned, we can move students between different virtual machines in our lab. Don't worry, we'll explore the topology in detail shortly. We can move students between groups or remove them anytime. Late adds or drops from your class? We've got you covered. Let's check out another course. We can see our test student isn't currently assigned to a machine. Over here, we can see the available machines for this group. Notice the Kali and Parrot Linux distributions are marked as shared. Multiple students can use these at the same time. But this Windows machine is dedicated to a single student. This keeps things secure and prevents resource conflicts while still allowing students to remotely connect and collaborate when needed. Assigning is as easy as a click. Their user account is automatically created, credentials are securely encrypted, and permissions are configured, all instantly and ready to go. Now, let's look at something really powerful. The Topology Builder. This is where we design multi-machine lab environments for our students. On the left, we have our VM templates, different operating system students might need. We have Kali Linux for penetration testing, Windows machines, Ubuntu servers, and more. Creating a lab is as simple as dragging a VM onto the canvas. Let's add another machine, maybe a Windows system that students will practice attacking. Now here's where it gets interesting. See these connection points? These represent network interfaces. To connect machines together, I simply click one port, then click another. This line represents a network connection between these two machines. When we deploy this topology, these connections become actual network links. Students on the Kali machine will be able to communicate with the Windows machine. Perfect for penetration testing exercises. We can configure each machine individually. CPU, RAM, storage, whatever the lab requires. And here's something unique. We can set machines as shared, where all students access the same VM, or exclusive, where each student gets their own isolated copy. We can build complex multi-machine scenarios. Maybe add a domain controller, a vulnerable web server, a database, whatever the lesson needs. Once we've designed our lab, we give it a name, Baylor University, and save it. This topology becomes a reusable template that we can deploy to different student groups across multiple semesters. The beauty of this is that you don't need to understand VLANs, IP addressing, or Proxmox. You design the lab visually and Scholar Secure handles all the infrastructure automatically. Now that we've created a topology, let's deploy it to our students. Here we select which topology we are going to use. We choose our course, and here's something powerful. We can segment students into different groups. Maybe you want part of the class focusing on defense while others focus on offense. You can restrict them into separate zones with different topologies, then later recombine them into a more open environment for team exercises. Whatever floats your boat. Now let's look at the monitoring side. We can easily see which VMs are running, check active sessions, and even disconnect students if needed. Currently, the settings allow 2 hours before auto-shutting off, but there's no limit to restarting and continuing. Students can pick up right where they left off. Audit logs keep track of all changes and logins. You can monitor student activity, teaching assistant activity, or just keep track of your own changes for accountability. Now let's take a quick look at lab submissions. This is linked with Canvas, though further development can create a custom standalone solution. Here you can create your own lab assignments that automatically get assigned to the course you're managing. To keep it simple, you build your own exercises, grade them here, and it automatically publishes to Canvas. No double entry, no manual grade transfers. Now let's move on to the student side and see what their experience looks like. From the student side, they log in with single sign-on and multi-factor authentication for security. For testing purposes, we have this disabled right now. When you create a course, a unique join code is automatically generated. You simply distribute this code to your students, and they enter it here to join the class. Once enrolled, students see their lab assignments. Let's say you've given an assignment. The student clicks on the lab assignment to start. Answers can be open-ended, multiple choice, or require screenshots to demonstrate their work. In this example, the student must scan the network to find vulnerable machines. All they need to do is click Launch Desktop, and they're immediately loaded into their assigned machine. And just like that, they have a fully functional workstation right in their browser. No VPN, no complex setup. Using the scanning tools available, they can explore the network topology. And there we go. They've just discovered the open ports on a nearby machine in the topology. They can document their findings, take screenshots, and submit everything directly through the platform. So that's Scholar Secure, from design to deployment to student execution. Let's recap what we've seen. Professors can visually design complex lab environments without touching a single command line. They deploy these topologies to isolated student groups with a few clicks. Students access fully functional cybersecurity workstations directly through their browser. No VPN, no complicated setup. Everything is integrated. Canvas for assignments. Active Directory for authentication. Automated provisioning, monitoring, and audit trails for compliance. And it all scales from 10 students to hundreds, with complete isolation and security. This isn't just another learning management system. This is enterprise-grade infrastructure made accessible for education. It's what cybersecurity programs need to prepare students for real-world scenarios, without the 6-figure price tag of commercial cyber ranges. Scholar Secure. Professional cybersecurity labs managed simply.